in this episode of Motive Garage presented by Sparesbox, we've got some more progress on our R33 GT-R, Project No Secrets, and we uncover a little bit more history about this mysterious car. Now, before we talk about the progress on Project No Secrets, we want to talk about probably the biggest discovery we've made about this car's history since we started researching everything we could. Now, if you've been watching since the very first episode, you'll know that when the car came to Australia, all they had was an auction sheet to go off, and the word Top Secret was in English and everything else in Japanese. So I guess they just presumed that Top Secret may have worked on it, and AutoStyle telling people that they may have worked on it seemed to have just turned into it's a Top Secret car when it came out in all the magazines. So the entire car scene just presumed that it was a Top Secret GT-R. Now, when we got the car and started researching into it, and obviously went to Tokyo Auto Sale and tried to find out what we could, we discovered that pretty quickly that it certainly was not just not a Top Secret car, it was never even touched by them. It just had a few Top Secret bits on it. But since then, we've been trying to work out the car's history more and more, and we just keep coming up with a dead end for one fundamental reason, and that is because we just don't have any pictures or any details of the car in Japan. Everything is just here in Australia, but that's all changed. Now, one of our Motive video followers sent us a picture of our R33 GT-R in the back of a magazine in Japan, essentially a reader's rides section. Now, the photo of the car, it's very obvious that it's our car because we can see the details in the interior, the cage, the engine bay, etc. But it had a lot more stickers on the outside of the car, and one of the most important bits of information is it was dated the 1st of June 2001, and the magazine was October 2001. And this is all not long before the car came over to Australia. So we hoped that this Reader's Rides article would give us a little bit more information on the car. So we got it translated. You ready? This is what it says. So it says Gifu Takahashi BCN R33, which basically means the guy was from Gifu. His name potentially was Takahashi. And the little catchphrase was, "I want to liven up the streets of Gifu." And then if you read the entire section on the car, it says, "Nice to meet you. This car is a 97 model R33 with Xerion Wangang specifications," which basically means it was used for street racing or street drags. "It boasts a demo car-like exterior and over 800 horsepower. I often go to the street Xerion, so please say hello if you see me. I will do my best to liven up the streets of Gifu, so please look forward to it. We are also looking for team members." Then says specifications, Apexi Power C, truss camshaft, truss connecting rod, Dart Azumi modified muffler, and we already know that it had T88 and all that sort of stuff. It says the car stands out wherever you go. I hope that we would do your best to liven up the streets of Gifu. Looking forward to it. Essentially, this guy built this car to look like a demo car, which means it was privately owned. He wanted to make it look like basically a demo car from a workshop, and he liked going out street racing in Gifu. Looking at that, we found out a fair bit about the car, but we obviously wanted to know more about, I guess, how it ended up the way that it was. So the car was covered in a lot of stickers, and we thought we would use those as clues for some more research on the car. And the one that took the most amount of interest to us was the Dart Azumi JR sticker, for a few reasons. Firstly, Azumida is based in Gifu, and this car and owner was based in Gifu as well. And also because Dart Azumi painted a lot of his cars gold back in the early 2000s, late 90s. You may remember that he had a Supra converted into a Ute and an R32 Skyline demo car that was gold. So we were hoping maybe he painted this car gold, and that would explain everything about this car. So I reached out to Robbie Nishida, a friend of ours that has competed in D1 as well as FD, who's done translating for us in the past. Now, he reached out to Azumida, told him the story about what we're trying to find out, and he got back to us, but probably not with what we wanted. He said that he didn't paint the car. In fact, he barely worked on it. He said he briefly met the owner but didn't know him properly, and that he probably just bought some exhaust off him or something like that, got a sticker for his car. So really, he had not a lot of idea about the car, but what he did say about the car is that he does remember that potentially the owner of that car, wait for it, got arrested not long after that article, and potentially got arrested for fraud and or theft. which probably explains why only a couple of months after the article in that magazine, the car went to auction and ended up in Australia. So yeah, what I hoped would be a big answer about the car is essentially almost in a way another dead end. So he said the car was already gold by the owner, but if you look into the translation of that article, he said he wanted to make it look like a demo car. So did he take inspiration from Top Secret, Data Zoomy? Who knows, but he wanted it to look like that. The next clue that we're going to pursue is the fact that it has a Garage Fukui sticker on the side of it, which is Phoenix's power. Potentially they did the engine, potentially they know more about it, or maybe not. But at least now we have at least one more clue left to go off on this car, but I think it's pretty incredible that we've now actually found a picture of this car in Japan. We know it was privately owned. We know he wanted to make it look like a demo car. We know he took it out on the freeways and on the street for street racing and things like that. So that's pretty cool. What will we find out next? Who knows? But let's get into the update on the car because we've got a lot going on with this thing now. So with all of the fiberglass work done on Project No Secrets, the next step is to basically get all of the panel work done, the high fill, etc., and get it ready for paint. However, we decided it was best to do the interior now before we did the exterior so that we didn't have to worry about overspray. If we do the interior first, we don't have to worry about any of that getting on the outside once it's all done. So with the interior, we are going to be doing a full custom trim in the car. But in the meantime, we needed to tidy up some surface rust, different layers of paint. We needed to also get rid of some bare metal and basically make the interior one color so that you don't get upset when you look inside the car, because we will be keeping the car quite bare on the inside until we get all the mechanical work done, get the car running before it gets the custom trim. So we've got a fair bit of work ahead of us to tidy up that interior, get it all one colour and get it off to the panel shop. Let's go. So with a little bit of a tidy up and some satin black paint making it all one colour, the interior now looks way better than it did before. It was terrible. What we need to do next though is we need to send the fuel filler cap and another part of the car off to Sydney Automotive Paint and Equipment to get them to scan it so we can find out what the colour code for our R33 GT-R is. And then we've got the guys from Pro Tilt coming over to pick up the car to send it off to the panel shop. So it's time to say goodbye to Project No Secrets for another month.